is there any message coming from your American counterparts to Canada's environment minister that you're hearing and will pass along?
Well, I'll find out. I mean, I know that the U.S. has not imposed a national carbon tax. We have a national carbon tax that's set to go up April 1st. So that's one way that we're out of sync. I know that there are often proposals for what a decarbonizing might look like on a number of fronts, but I'm not seeing that America is moving as quick as Canada, and that's one thing that I hope that we can bring in sync, is that if we can all focus around a 2050 target, I think technology will allow us to get there, whether it's on zero emissions vehicles or building up the hydrogen economy or carbon capture, utilization, and storage.
What do you think would be the appetite for any new export pipeline out of Canada into the United States, given the permitting challenges on both sides of the border?
I'm going to see. I hope that I can raise some enthusiasm for the prospect, because look, when we signed on to COP28, we signed on to natural gas being a transition fuel. And so I think we've got to embrace that. If that's what we've signed on as nations, it means that we understand that the world is going to need natural gas. I think we've got a dual challenge as the wealthy nations of the world, to not only reduce emissions, but also to eliminate energy poverty around the globe. And I can tell you that's what many of the oil-producing nations are seized with, is that there's 2.2 billion people on the planet that don't have the same access to energy that we do. And if we can look at natural gas as a transition fuel, because it's a build-out to a potential hydrogen or ammonia economy, I think that should be a compelling vision for all of us. I think there's just so much opportunity for our bitumen to be used in a variety of different ways in the future.
Your relationship with Ottawa hasn't always been smooth. So now that you're on your first visit, how is it actually having your direct voice to talk to American industry and lawmaker? And is your sometimes adversarial relationship with Ottawa an asset or an issue?
I would say my adversarial relationship with Ottawa is centered on one person, and that's Environment Minister Steven Guilbeault, because he continues to announce absurd policies that are not being replicated by our biggest trading partner, and continues to have us go down a pathway where we are going to be out of sync with our largest trading partner. So I would say that's part of the reason I focus on him, and I'm asking his more reasonable colleagues to chart a more moderate course.
Would you be urging the federal government to do something more comprehensive that looks like what Biden is doing here?
Well, a couple things I'd say is that there is responsibility for our provincial government to do more. And one of the things that we've done with our carbon pricing is that when companies pay into the fund, we use that fund to support a number of decarbonization measures. And in our climate, especially with our unique ability to produce hydrogen as well as capture the CO2, I think that there's a lot more opportunity on the hydrogen economy. We've seen, for instance, that our power grid almost failed on January the 13th, and we have very, very few electric vehicles in our market. If we had 2 million plug-in vehicles, our power grid just couldn't support it right now. So we know that there has to be, as new vehicles are coming online, an increase in the not only the amount of generation, but how robust our system is. But we also think that hydrogen offers a bit of a safety valve.